there's one particular part of this that I thought was interesting. Daniel goes, this team has changed a lot. This year is very much a strange year. It's a transitional year. I think we're doing a lot of good things. We have a lot of mistakes. We're lacking quality in certain areas. I think we're in a well-deserved position right now. And yes, those first half performances are mostly the reason we're in our position. But the part that surprised me that he just said openly was we are lacking quality in certain areas. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of No Other Pod. I'm Jimmy, along with my good buddy Daniel Kooser. Dan, what's going on, my friend? What's on your shirt there?
The Kansas City Marathon. I wear this like a badge of honor because I'm pretty sure that had a helping hand in my deterioration of my hip joints.
So is that the front of the Nelson?
Yeah, I think that is the Nelson Atkins there.
Okay. Oh, I see the shuttlecock there. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool shirt, and I wear it when I can.
It's pretty cool.
Reminder,
yeah.
I'll never do another one. Tell you that.
Marathon. I know it's on a lot of people's bucket list, and even fewer people do it. It's not something that ever appealed to me, so I admire you for doing it.
The thing was, my work at the time was a sponsor of it, and they were giving out a limited number of free entries, and I submitted right away, and they gave us like you and your partner. So me and Marissa got to run it for free.
That's awesome.
And we took it so seriously, dude. We trained for like 8 months, found like a plan on like the Nike Run Club. And we were doing different kind of sprints or endurance or hills while still strength training in between. And then Chris ran it with us. And Chris don't prepare for nothing. That dude's an anomaly.
Yeah.
He's insane.
Yeah.
And then he'll say he like got hurt playing kickball. And I'm like, because you don't warm up ever. Like, we're almost 40, yeah?
Yeah. Brittany ran it at the time, and she did training for like 8 months. And there was one weekend where we went out there and I drove the route while she was like taking notes on like where the hills were going to be. And then I'll conserve energy here and do all that. Like, it was pretty cool.
I did not think about that.
Yeah. She took it real seriously. But then the same thing. Her brother-in-law, just like 3-4 weeks before the marathon, was like, oh, I think I want to run it too. Did like 2 practice runs and then ran a marathon. And I'm like, that doesn't scientifically make sense to me.
All I got to say is when I hit mile 18, my body was just like done. And I was like, I have like 8 more miles left. This is crazy. I never walked, so that was cool.
It's pretty cool.
But afterwards, I didn't even want to hang out at like the after festivities. I was just like, let's go get pizza and go gorge ourselves because I need calories.
Well, and it's an early morning too, because there's so many people. You got to get down there at like 6 a.m. to find a parking spot and all sorts of craziness. So
it was pretty stressful at the time. But again, bucket list thing. I'll probably never do another one. Just looking back on it, what a crazy time. And I absolutely forgot you were there. That's so crazy.
I saw you. Yeah. I've done a few 5Ks, and then I did like the zoo run. They have like their 4-mile run, and I did that one. And that one, I'm like, well, I'm looking at animals when I'm running for a large chunk of the time, so like I'm distracted,
dude. But my new thing, though, I think you and I need to pop in to that Ninja Warrior gym in Kansas City and do some shit.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been watching that show for like 15 years. I just love it. Every summer it's on, and I'm all in. I know I would suck at some of those things, but also some of them I think I'd be pretty decent.
See, my irrational confidence is I don't think I'd be good at Ninja Warrior. I think I'd be trash at Ninja Warrior. I think I'd be good at Wipeout. I'm watching Wipeout, and I'm like, I could smoke these fools. Like, these people don't know how to get through this first obstacle course. I'm like, I'd at least qualify through that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd probably qualify through the second or third. Like, I'm like, I think I can get kind of far.
We talked about this, right? Like, there was a Wipeout 5K that came to Kansas City. Okay, I thought we did. That's so much those fun. Big balls, they'll get you.
Well, you're not the first person to say that, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's that's cool, man. I am not a runner. Running, like Nick's our producer, I'm just getting tired listening to this. And running is, I get so bored. I can't. Some people find it therapeutic. I do not. Can't do it. I could do an elliptical all day, but not.
Oh, sure. I think my days running are done. I don't think I should put Impact. However, I do run in this musical I'm in, which is pretty crazy. Uh, Dude, I got lit up yesterday during a scene change. I was getting ready to walk away from this scene that just ended, and this flat gets turned really fast as two people are behind it, and the next scene's about to happen. And the corner of it clips me like right in the Achilles. Dude, instant burning pain. I don't show it on my face at all because I'm talking, but in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm fucked up. And as the show's going on, this was early on. So as the show's going on, I'm like, oh, there's blood in my sock. Like I'm bleeding. And I start thinking, dude, you know when you see like a horror movie and like someone's Achilles gets slashed? That's like all I could think of.
You're like, I'm gonna bleed out and die on the stage.
Oh my God. So we make it to intermission because I have no time to check anything in the first act. And people are looking at me like, Kooser, oh my God, are you okay? And I look at it and it's a gash, but it's not like still bleeding. It's just like a scrape.
Mm-hmm.
But today, the contusion is real, bro. My foot is huge. People are telling me I should see a doctor. I'm like, it's just a bruise. Relax. Like I'll elevate and ice. Like, what would I need to see a doctor for?
What was it wood or metal? What cut you?
It was probably wood. Yeah.
Wood. Okay. You got your
because metal. You're thinking, okay. Yeah. I mean, I think I do. Yeah. Okay. But like everything looks fine. It's just swelling. I'll send you a picture and gross you out later.
Awesome. I can't wait. I cut my finger the other day. I don't remember if I told you this or not. I cut my finger the other day, trying to replace the blade on my lawnmower. It like slipped, and it wasn't that bad, but it drew blood. Oh. And then I freaked out. I was like, when was my last tetanus shot? And I had it. But then I was like, I don't even know what tetanus is. So then I looked up what is tetanus. And I was like, this sounds terrible. I don't want this. And there's no cure for it if you get it. They just have to manage your symptoms for weeks to months. Like, no, absolutely not. So
yeah, you don't want it. I mean, I don't think you want it. I don't know much about it either. I just know we got to get them shots.
Pain and lockjaw. That's what you get.
Yeah.
So, but shots help. So thankfully I'm up on my tetanus vaccine and I did not get it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, like nothing against anybody who has some sort of cankles going on, but this bruise makes me look like I have no ankles, my man. Like this is some elephantitis shit in my feet. It's crazy.
Well, keep an eye on it because if it doesn't get better in the next day or two, maybe you should go see a doctor.
Well, what do you mean? It's just it's no different than like a bruise, right? And swelling, you just ice and rest, right? The rice method.
So I don't know. I don't know anything about medicine. I'm a hypochondriac. You know this.
Well, I'm not like, it'd be different if I like, say I twisted my ankle.
Sure.
And sprained it. I mean, it was just a hit, dude. It's no different than if I like got hit by a baseball at the plate or something. Like, boom, I don't need to see a doctor, but yeah, it's going to bruise.
Yeah, as long as the bruising like gets better over the course of however many days. I don't think there's anything down by your ankle that like could like continuously internal bleed. Like there's no.
And I'm not limping. It's not like I'm not walking around, And
you didn't do your Achilles because you'd know if you did that.
Oh, you would know. But bro, in the moment, I was just like, oh, I'm so fucked. There's an hour left of this first act.
That's awful.
Yeah, what a time. Live theater. You got to keep going.
You never know what's going to happen.
You never know. And the lady who was pushing the flat, she was so apologetic. She's actually one of my personal training clients. She was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Can I get you, Ben? I was like, leg day this week, motherfucker.
We're going to do 150 up downs. Go.
Yeah. Oh my God. Burpee City. But I'll be all right. I'm a tough bitch.
I never thought about this, but it makes me wonder how often like mid performance of like a musical or a live show, someone like twists an ankle or lands wrong or does something and they just have to push through and just fight through it so people don't
gotta rough it. I gave my blood for this show, man. Blood, sweat, and tears all day.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you think about it for like sports, people fight through pain all the time, but I bet it happens a lot because I mean musicals and performances can be very physical.
You can't get subbed out. No, you can't go out and have a trainer look at it. You got to just keep going.
Get Toradol shot.
Yes, right. Shoot it up. It'd get me better. But I will say, like, I'm not saying that theater is a sport, but it's like there are some weird parallels to that. You know what I mean?
You got to be in shape. I mean, I couldn't do it. Were we talking about this when I was like in marching band? I had to learn how to breathe and such. It's the same thing. You have to learn how to breathe, and it's a whole different level of stamina.
I do breathing exercises every night just to try to centralize it and where it needs to be and everything.
That's crazy.
So fun.
Yeah, but so you weren't at the NYC game because you had a performance, right?
Right. And if I would have gone, it sounds like I would have been in Satan's butthole because
Oh,
it was quite the hot evening.
it was hot. I'm just grateful that I wasn't the one having to play in this weather. Like I'm
That's
sitting
true.
there in the
And you
press
weren't put
box.
outside? You were in the box?
No, but they did open the windows. And like when I first got in there, it was all closed. Air conditioning was nice. I'm having a wonderful meal. They had like a little sort of like Asian inspired Hawaiian barbecue spread. So I'm sitting there and I'm having a lovely time. I got my Diet Coke. I got my lemon blueberry cookie. It is the life. And then I'm not trying to put him on blast, but we're all sitting there in the comfortable air conditioning. And Mr. Daniel Sperry's like, we got to open up the windows. And then
Why would that happen? Why did he do that?
it was like it's like the kid in school who's like, teacher, you forgot to collect the homework. He's like,
Seriously. Everyone hates that kid. Sperry, what are you doing?
And so even Kurt Austin, the director of comms, was like, we're gonna give it as long as we possibly can to sit in the air conditioning.
Why? What do the windows need to be open for?
The atmosphere, and I mean, you do hear more because it's
sure,
like,
but don't you have to? Are you non-biased reporters, anyways? What do you care about the atmosphere?
Well, I mean, you got to hear. It is cool to hear like the sounds of the game and such.
You know what else is cool? Cool air.
That's the thing. There are certain times where I'm like, you know what? As much as it might be nice to hear the occasional cauldron chant to sort of give the atmosphere of the game, I also like not sweating my balls off.
You've been to games. You know the atmosphere. You know the chants. Like, there's nothing new that's going to happen. Yeah. It's like, let's enjoy this air conditioner while it's 107 heat index.
Yeah. So the window's open.
Barry wants the homework. My goodness.
So
I'm disappointed. And happy, dude, I think happy anniversary to Sperry. I think him and his wife just celebrated 9 years. I just celebrated 10 years last week, by the way. I got Marissa these crazy, like, blue painted orchids. Mm-hmm. And she one-upped me and got me more expensive flowers in the form of Van Gogh's sunflower Lego painting. So I've been building that for hours, and I can't wait till we wrap this podcast because I'm going to go get back on it.
You're like, let's go. Let's get to it. I want to get back to Legos.
I'm obsessed, bro. I took a little gummy last night, and I was there for hours just having a time.
Dressed as Van Gogh. You're sitting there in the corner.
I cut my own ear off. No, it's cool. I'm obsessed with like the Lego art collection and stuff. You hang that around your wall. It's awesome.
I got a Lego piranha plant from Super Mario that I got to build that my brother gave me for Christmas that I haven't built yet.
I want that one. Now, we have the botanical stuff everywhere. We got succulents and bouquets and wildflower bouquets. But I don't think I want that. Can't go with the botanicals collection because it's not real.
Yeah.
But goddamn it, if I don't want to put it right next to a bouquet and be like, plant.
It's a plant. It is. It fits. Let's take our first break here. We'll come back and we'll talk about soccer. But we'll be right back.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network. Emprise Bank has been with us from the beginning. They were our first network partner, and they believed in the vision of what we were building from the start. I can't speak to any other banks or companies and how they operate, but I can tell you from personal experience and based on the growth of the network you're listening to right now, that if you have banking needs, call our friends at Emprise Bank. We've worked with so many great people there over the years, from Vicky and Aggie to Andrea, Lori, Jackie, Deb, and Aaron, and not to mention so many others that not just supported KC Sports Network, but supported our KCSN Foundation as well. But the best thing that I know is that if I have a question or a problem, no matter how dumb the question is, I know who I'm going to call and who I'm going to talk to. And I know that I'm getting an answer from someone that I can trust. And I know that person is there to help us. That's why Emprise Bank has always been and continues to be our partner in Possible. And they can be yours too. You just have to reach out. If you have a banking need, whether it's business or personal, hit me up. I will connect you directly with the same people that have helped us build KCSN. And that's our friends at Emprise Bank.
Folks, there's nothing that beats relaxing on a hot summer day and watching some baseball. And there's no simpler way to get in on the action than by downloading the Pick 6 app from DraftKings. It's crazy simple. Just pick more or less on the stats for 2 or more of your favorite players, and boom, you're in the mix for big cash prizes. And the best part, Pick 6 is available right here in Missouri. don't miss out on the fun. Don't settle for a smaller payout. Switch to Pick 6, and right now, new customers can get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Here's what you got to do. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN for new customers to get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Bonus picks expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Bro, you saw Superman last week, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so glad you did. I know you're not a huge DC guy. You're not like making it priority like you might with Marvel, but I'm glad you saw it. Good times, yeah?
I did see it. You were not the only one who told me that it was worth seeing. You were not the only one who told me that MX4D was worth it. My brother Robbie said he thought it was probably his favorite theatrical experience he's had seeing Superman in MX4D.
I might do the same with Fantastic Four, man. I don't know.
I do have my Fantastic Four tickets. Now, Superman, I just saw here at the B&B Theater by my house because I like going over to Town Center, Leawood, and seeing movies in like their Dolby Theater. And so that's what I'm doing for Fantastic Four later this week. I'm going to go. I'm going to do the whole Dolby experience because I'm super pumped. Silver Surfer, one of my favorite characters in the comics as a kid. So I'm very excited to see Silver Surfer and Galactus finally come into the MCU. But Superman was good. I enjoyed it.
Good deal.
Yeah. I had no idea that, spoiler alert, I guess if you haven't seen Superman, just real quick, no idea the Justice Gang, quote unquote, was in it. Like literally knew nothing about it. So that was kind of fun.
That was a lot of fun. But, Superman couldn't make it, but lucky for you, you got the upgrade.
Yeah. And my brother is Robbie, he's a huge Green Lantern fan. And so they nailed Guy Gardner, and he was like, this was the best Green Lantern movie that they've made so far. You
got a series coming out next year, I think.
Yeah.
So that'll be good.
Nathan Fillion's great. I've met Nathan Fillion.
Oh, that's cool.
He was in a grocery store in Los Angeles. Ralph's. He was checking out in front of me, and I saw him, and I was in the midst of watching Firefly.
Did you say something?
Oh my God, it's Nathan Fillion. So at first, I was like, I'm not going to bug him. Like, I've seen celebrities around LA. Like, I saw Mr. Feeney in a grocery store one time. Like, I was like, I'm just leave him alone. Then, as I'm walking to my car, he's parked directly next to me.
No shit.
He's loading his groceries into the back of his car. And so I'm loading the groceries into the back of my car. We're right next to each other. And I turned to him and I was like, I'm so sorry to bother you. I just want to say I'm a huge fan. Watching Firefly right now. Really love it. And he's like, oh, thank you so much. You want a picture? So I was like, sure. So I pull out my phone and Nathan Fillion takes my phone, opens up my camera, and takes a selfie of us.
That's pretty cool.
So he was super cool.
Wow, dude. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I've never really met anybody. I got a guy who's trying to get me to go to Chronicon in Chicago.
Okay.
It's with with Kevin Smith and his whole universe of movies and stuff. And it's pretty affordable. And I'm looking for a reason to get back to Chicago. I just haven't pulled the trigger yet.
Yeah. Go to that Chicago diner.
Dude, there's more there now. Like since COVID happened, places shut down, other places opened. Like it's a whole new ball game.
Yeah.
You didn't expect the Justice Gang. I didn't expect that Sporting played their 23rd most unique lineup.
A lot of lineups.
24 games or some shit.
Yep.
That kind of tells a story because for years, everyone knows consistency is key for chemistry in your team. And if you don't have that consistency, how the F do you build chemistry?
It's pretty bad.
We deserve to be where we are in the standings if you're looking at something like that,
Yeah, Kerry was asked, he was like, what is this team's identity? Which I think is a fair question because, with Peter, we always knew at least what he was striving for.
Did he talk about mentality?
I don't think he said the word mentality, at least in this answer, but that's when he mentioned
everybody drew out.
I was just told this was our 24th starting lineup in 25 games, and that doesn't scream out continuity, right? So we've had to adjust different moments, and we've had a lot of opportunities to be creative this year. And that's true. And this isn't, a criticism of Kerry by any means. There have been injuries. There has been roster changes. You don't expect there to be, broken clavicles or whatnot. There's been yellow card suspensions. So this is, But the thing I think that is frustrating is this also isn't really new for Sporting Kansas City. Like over the past 4 or 5 years, I feel like one thing we've talked a lot about is, well, it's hard to build any momentum because we've had so much, lineup inconsistency. And so when that becomes a pattern, as it feels like it has, you have to start wondering, well, why? Why is it continuing to be a pattern? And I'm not saying other teams don't have this in some capacity, but it does feel like whether it's the way that the roster's built or the injury availability of these players, there's something about Sporting Kansas City over the last 4 or 5 years where it has led to an ungodly amount of lineups.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It definitely injuries play a part in that kind of decision making all the time. It also goes back to the most consistent thing about us is Jansen Miller on the back line, which no one saw coming.
Right.
It's just it's very weird, especially when you'll have like Shallowy starting on the bench or Eric Tommy on the bench or Eric Tommy out right now for something he's got going on. What is that anyways? Do we know? I mean,
I'm not sure.
You want to talk hips? I'm your guy. Let's talk about it.
Eric, let's talk hips. I don't really know. Hopefully he's going to be available later this week. He was listed as questionable up until the day of the game and then or match day -1, and then he was listed as out. But you're right. Jansen Miller. I mean, if you had to nominate somebody for Defender of the Year for the team right now, I mean, it's Jansen, and it's not really close.
No, dude. All the goal line saves tell the story as it is.
Yeah. And he had a couple there, this was a weird game because, he was paired with Joaquin Fernandez, and he hasn't had a ton of time next to Joaquin because Joaquin was injured and then yellow card, and then it was Jansen and Volliter, and then Volliter had a broken clavicle. So he and Joaquin are kind of figuring it out. You had Andrew Brody in there at right back where he's been a spot starter. It's typically been Kyrie or even Jake Davis. But the midfield was super interesting because we had Manu at the 10, which was to be expected. But then Nemanja Radia came back, but he played with Jacob Bartlett. So Bartlett was the defensive midfielder, which forced Rado to be a little bit higher up. And that's not – I think you could see in the midfield there wasn't a great command of it behind Manu because we didn't have somebody who was that real – sort of number 8 type midfielder that Jake Davis can be. Rado just doesn't do it as well. He's better as a defensive midfielder. So this was, I don't know. But going into this game, New York was pretty bad on the road too. So you feel like this was when you kind of had to win.
Yeah, and even Kerry was asked about that earlier in the week. And he's like, you really can't look at that as a statistic at all. Because someone who's bad on the road all of a sudden starts winning on the road, or someone who's played 4 road games in a row can come in and beat somebody, So
it's true.
None of that really matters. He's like, we're just trying to prepare for the game. And dude, 12 minutes go by and we really don't have a lot of the ball. I mean, we don't have much at all. And they're coming at us. They're missing glancing headers and shots going wide. And then in the 13th minute, John Polskamp has to come up freaking huge. And, sometimes goalkeeper saves, they almost look lucky, but they're not lucky because you put your body in a position to be big or you make a slide, right? And it's crazy because no one, that point blank save he had on this was insane.
It's a skill. It's a skill to be able to do that. And he's done that a number of times this year. I even asked Kerry about it after the game. I was like, look, you mentioned lineup inconsistency, but the one thing that has been consistent, if anything, is you've had Polskamp between the sticks. And he's gotten better over the year. I mean, how many times between him and Jansen Miller, making goal line clearances and Polskamp making one-on-one stops like this, they've probably stopped, I'm not exaggerating, an additional 6 or 7 goals on the year that would have been given up otherwise, which could have led to, countless points that have been lost.
I would have rounded up to like 10.
Could have been, I mean, more.
I have no idea.
It's just those two have been really in a lot of games the only true bright spots of that defensive unit.
Yeah. Now, dude, a really cool moment that we get these little moments that give me hope for like future things. Manu Garcia, I'm just like really loving, by the way. I'm just like, get him the ball. Get him the ball. He'll do something. But it also, Daniel Shallowy does things too, man. And he's wearing that number 10 jersey with pride, even though he's not a number 10. But Logan and Denbei's coming up. and he does a little give and go with Daniel, and Daniel kind of scoops it over into his path.
Mhm.
And Logan really has no angle to get a goal here.
It's
but
close.
He attempts and he puts it on goal, and it's a pretty exciting bit of soccer from us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are moments where, and there were even moments later where toward that cauldron end where there were little give and go moments that you see occasionally, and you're like, okay, there's something there, but they just need to figure out how can the midfield control possession better, how can the defense prevent quick counters, how can they not lose the ball in a dangerous spot. And there was about a 5-minute stretch between like the 16th and 17th minute to the 21st, 22nd minute where it felt like every 30 seconds New York City just had a quick counter and they were on a near one-on-one breakaway, and Sporting was living and dying by the skin of their teeth. They were just clearing the ball away or just getting a touch at the last moment until it finally caught up to them in the 22nd minute.
Yeah,
and,
who got burned here?
I mean, Jansen is pretty high up, but I think it's Andrew Brody who he can't keep up with Perea, and Perea runs by him. Brody can't get the slide, and Perea sends it into the corner of the net. There's not much Pulskamp can do here, but Sporting was playing such a high line at this point in the game, and New York saw it, and this is a credit to them and their coach. They saw it and they capitalized it, because I had literally, I think, just posted not 30 seconds before this about how Sporting have been continuously letting up these quick counters, and they've been getting away with it, but they're not going to be able to do it much longer. And then this happened.
Well, it's a great shot too, man. Like Pulskamp's covering his left post because like that's the obvious place for the shooter to shoot.
Right.
But he goes across his body, and Pulskamp's like, shoot.
It's a tough shot.
And he goes to the right side. So I was shocked this went in when I was watching it back. It's absolutely crazy.
It's a really tough shot. And Sporting had some chances after this goal in the first half. Not a lot, but there were a couple of opportunities where it's like, okay, if you can get an equalizer before halftime and you come back out, you feel like you might be able to do something. They just could. There were a number of times where, like you said, there's a couple give and goes, and they just couldn't find that last shot, which is kind of the story of the season.
Shoppy had a pretty hard shot right at the goalkeeper, though, about midway through. Mm-hmm. But Daniel had this long ball he runs onto, tries to catch the keeper outside of his box.
Mm-hmm.
It's got me excited for that, but didn't quite work out, man. And now it's just all about trying to get back into this damn game.
Yeah, absolutely. So 0-1 at the half. Certainly didn't feel like we were out of it, but I didn't love how New York felt like for the majority of the game they were controlling possession. I don't
did look like that.
I'm not used to, and this is a function of how Sporting has played at home under Peter for years, but I'm not used to another team coming in and feeling like they are the ones dominating in terms of controlling the game. Even though, again, they scored on a counter, but for the most part, I mean, when you look at the stats at the end of the game, New York City had 60% of the possession to Sporting's 14. New York had 17 shots to Sporting's 11. That's not a typical Sporting home game.
Yeah.
No.
Now, Jansen Miller had to come up big later on, man, in like the 60-something. And he gets the ball from this defender, or from this NYCFC player. And then this other NYCFC player comes up and just takes it and shoots point blank at Pulskamp, who's got to do this quick reaction fall to his left. That could have been rough. That could have been hard to come back from.
Could have been. And Sporting, I mean, even right after the second half started, Sporting almost gave up a goal off a set piece, but New York had chances. Let's take our second break here real quick before we talk about the equalizer and some formation changes, but we'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network.
Man, we got ourselves a birthday celebration on Saturday, didn't we?
It was Daniel.
How special is that?
29th birthday.
That's special as hell, dude. And to score on your birthday, not like, hey, this is my birth week, but this is my birthday. That's pretty special, despite not winning, you know.
And the technique to score this is crazy because the ball's bouncing around in the box. Sporting, in this stretch suddenly felt like they found life again. There was a formation change in the 67th minute because they switched from this 4-3-3 to a 4-4-2 where you had Santi and Dejan. And we talked about this last week. We're like, might want to see Santi and Dayon together in this 4-4-2 a little bit more.
I told you Kerry's been listening, dude. Right. I told you ever since Papa Kerry came on, man, he's a fan.
We should have asked in the press conference, like, Kerry, I noticed you switched to a 4-4-2. We mentioned this last week on the podcast. Is that where you got the idea?
Right. Should you hire us as advisors?
I saw there was a graphic today that said that Sporting have no analytics staff. Should you hire us as your analytics staff? We can give you gems like play this formation, which isn't analytics, but sure.
They have no analytics staff?
I haven't verified that myself. There was some graphic going around social that was like, here are all the teams that employ like analytics specific staff, and I don't know how they're defining analytics specific staff. It might be like your only job is analytics. I know Sporting uses analytics. I know Kerry is more of an analytics guy than Peter is. I don't think Sporting has, quote, an analytics department.
Gotcha. Interesting.
But Daniel, man, I mean, the technique to get this down and not just, I mean, he takes it first time off his left foot. This would have been so easy to sail wide or way over the net, and he bounces it and scores. And now Sporting has life.
This is chaotic soccer at its finest. I mean, Shoppy should have never been able to dribble anywhere near the box anyways, because there's like four guys, and he's like, excuse me, coming through. And they poke it away from him. But then Joveljic puts it back in the path of Shoppy, who Shoppy never stops running, and puts it on goal. Oh, is it Santi?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. And then Santi hits it right at the goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, the way it pops out to Daniel is just perfect, dude. Right place, right time. Mm-hmm. But to finish this, to be a bouncing shot is, I don't know how on purpose that was to make a bouncing shot. You're just trying to kick it, you know?
Yeah. And I said left foot. It was off his right foot. But sometimes I'm not going to sit here and pretend. And if you ask Daniel, he'll be like, yep, happened exactly as I planned it to.
Sure.
But sometimes, I mean, that is a technique, is you have to drive it hard into the ground because you're more likely to get it on target, and you could bounce it over a defender, just like what happened. So it's certainly possible. But yeah, 29th birthday, he scores. It's the equalizer. I mean, New York City, they had a chance in the 82nd minute. And I want to get your thoughts on this because they have a little bit of a breakaway again, and Logan Ndenbe kind of comes from behind and pushes the New York City player a little bit in the back. And I'm not going to lie, if this was reversed and that was a Sporting player that went down, I think I'd feel hard done. This, to me, I was surprised they didn't even stop play for more than 30 seconds to take a further look at this. This felt like taking a penalty.
We might be lucky to get 1 point here. Like, that's crazy.
Because, I mean, I don't know if they said it was shoulder to shoulder. This was not shoulder to shoulder. He kind of went through him in the back. And for whatever reason, there was no penalty given, no foul given, no anything. And, New York came a couple more times, and 6 minutes of stoppage time. Sporting had one chance where they almost sprung a breakaway. They just couldn't get the pass right. Otherwise, Dayon would have been in on goal on his own. But it ultimately ends 1-1, which is a lot better than a loss. It is what it is, but it now leaves you in a place where you are a full 5 points behind ninth place San Jose. Now, you do have a game in hand against San Jose, which is interesting because Sporting very rarely have games in hand against any team that is ahead of them. But as Daniel said after the game, we're in a situation now where we have to win at least half, if not more, of our 10 remaining games to have a shot at the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's a much higher rate of winning games than they have all season long. Because if you're saying you got to win 5 of your remaining 10 and you've only won 6 of 24, so you got to double your win rate in the last 10 games for what you've been having, because you've only won 25% of your games.
This is rough. We're not making it easy on ourselves, that's for sure. So if anything good comes of this, I mean, it'll be pretty miraculous. But I'm getting a little less hopeful, a little less optimistic about things, especially with the way we drop points at home. Like, you can't lose at home. You can't play bad at home. No. You know what I mean? And it showed in the fan base too. I mean, there's a lot of empty seats at Sporting. Blame the heat, blame the weather, whatever. But I think I'm going to blame the performance of the club. And it's just unfortunate,
Now, the only saving grace, I guess you could say, if you will, is teams that Sporting still have yet to play, especially at home: Austin, Colorado, Houston. You have opportunities where you can beat these teams that are sitting just ahead of you, and they still got to play Salt Lake again, although it's on the road, so that'll be a little tougher. But there are opportunities for these teams that are, in the 4 or 5 spots immediately above them to take huge points off of them. But you have to win these games. If you're looking at we have to win 5 of our last 10, then basically you have to beat Colorado, you have to beat Austin, you have to beat Salt Lake, and you have to beat Houston. So then you got to take 1 more off of Minnesota, LA, Vancouver, Orlando, or Seattle.
Yeah.
So that's a tough ask.
That ain't easy. Yeah.
No. But what Daniel said that I thought was interesting is he was asked about falling behind in games and why this happens and what they can do. And I know you jokingly / not as jokingly told Kerry, have you considered scoring earlier in the game? Which apparently he hasn't yet. But
he has not. They have not considered.
This was, I thought there's one particular part of this that I thought was interesting. Daniel goes, this team has changed a lot. This year is very much a strange year. It's a transitional year. I think we're doing a lot of good things. We have a lot of mistakes. We're lacking quality in certain areas. I think we're in a well-deserved position right now. And yes, those first half performances are mostly the reason we're in our position. But the part that surprised me that he just said openly was we are lacking quality in certain areas, because he didn't specify what areas and he didn't specify certain players, but it's pretty rare for a player, especially of Daniel Shalhoub's stature on a team, to just flat out admit there are certain parts of this team that were not good enough. And that's essentially what he's saying.
Yeah, it's precisely what he's saying. And then to kind of transition, I know the transfer window opens this week. Mm-hmm. I believe it's Thursday.
Yep.
People keep trying to ask Kerry about that, and I got to tell you, people just don't learn that his answer is the same. He does not dabble in that stuff. He only has to worry about the guys in the locker room. I get it. News people have been used to asking Peter because Peter was very much in control of everything. Well, it's different now. Kerry's not. He couldn't care less. He's, let me know if you're bringing in players. We'll do what we got to do.
I mean, I'm sure they talk to him and say, hey, this is like the idea that we have. But yeah, he is not the one who is in charge of scouting. He is not the one who's in charge of negotiating these. And he's not the full-time coach.
No, so, I'm sure stuff is discussed. And they're just like thoughts. And he's like, sounds good.
Right. But this is such an interest. Like, I'm going to be honest. Like, his answer was the Peter answer of like, we have a good group of guys that I'm very confident in, but we're always looking to add better players to the roster, just like any other team in the world. Which, whatever. There's also a limited amount of flexibility they have until they get out of some of these contracts after this season. But also, if I'm ownership and I'm not 100% sold right now on Kerry Zavagnin is going to be our full-time coach, and we have our full-time sporting director in Mike Burns, if you're not sold on those two right now, how much are you willing to open the pocketbooks to let them bring in people that may or may not line up with the vision that the next sporting director or next coach have? You can't get yourself in a bad situation.
When this whole little rebuild started last year, they had said to us, hey, it's not going to be fixed in one transfer window. We're actually looking like multiple. 3 windows is what they said.
Mm-hmm. And this would be window 2 of those 3.
This will be window 2.
According to plan.
That's right. And so I guess that makes me a tad excited for it. Like, you did say things will be getting done. Yeah. So let's find out. Let's see. And this is an exciting week for that.
Yeah. But Peter was also the one who was saying that, and Peter's gone.
That is true. So that is true. Man, I would have loved for him to come to that retro night where the Wizards were when they came to town.
Would have been fun.
Or the old guys. Yeah. The older team.
Yeah. It would have been funny. I don't blame him for not. I don't even know that. I don't know. I don't know how that would have gone. That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't blame him. Do we have something from Chip this week that we want to read?
Hey, really good memory. Yes, I got it right here. So, another match, another point, and another game where the offense struggled to wrangle something together. Let's discuss. Sporting KC bagged 1 goal on 0.8 XG and 11 shots, 5 of which were on target. This is compared to NYCFC's 1 goal on 1.2 XG and 17 shots, 5 of which were on target. So not terribly far off. For SKC's offense, the shots were weighted heavily towards the forwards, with 7 of those 11 coming from the 3 up top. While SKC struggled through offensive production in the first half, we had that injection of speed in the second 45 minutes with the addition of Jake Davis and Santi Munoz in the 66th and 67th minutes. While SKC only had 7 shots combining for .3 XG in the first half, those substitutions kicked us into gear, getting 4 shots between the 71st and 74th minutes, getting 1 goal and the rest of our .53 XG. All from 4 strikes. I'd like to see more Santi Munoz minutes in the future, as I think he brings something akin to dribble penetration from basketball, which can leave someone else available for an open pass. It's just a matter of getting the ball to the right person. That's what he did. That's how it got to Daniel. That's how it bounced out.
Yep.
My focus goes to this stat. Joveljic played 90 minutes, had 1 shot, not on target, and only had 23 touches the entire match. In this season, Joveljic has had some great performances, and he remains our top goal scorer at 13 goals on the season, literally more than double the person in second place, Shallowy. A lot of what I see in Joveljic is similar to the stat lines I would see for Pulido, except that Joveljic is finding the back of the net so much that he is currently tied for 5th in the Golden Boot race, a truly wild thing to think, considering SKC's consistent lack of a lead goal scorer in recent years. I think that one of the more surprising things about Joveljic and his stats is that he only has 0.26 touches per minute in this last game, but that's not terribly different from previous games. The lowest he has had all season was 0.22 touches per minute played on March 22nd against LAFC, and his max was 0.52 touches per minute played on April 26th against FC Cincinnati. He isn't a player that gets tons of touches, but when he does, he makes them count. In the last 9 games, he has scored in 7 of them, including our 3-1 win against the Dynamo when he put 2 in the net. There just seems to be a hot and cold element to things where I wonder if we're not utilizing him correctly, and then the next game he'll have a hell of a match. But even if you remove the 4 goals Joveljic got off penalties this year, he has the 7th highest goals per touch stat in the league, inches behind Messi. Whatever it may be, poaching, right place, right time, or absolute luck, Joveljic has given us an offensive boost we need. Next up, we are away at Vancouver on the 26th. While Vancouver is currently sitting at 2nd in the West, they're only sitting at 1.4 points per game in their last 5 matches, including 3-0 losses to both LA Galaxy and Colorado, both away. SKC, mind you, is at 1.6 points per game in their last 5, with their only loss in that time frame being that 3-2 loss to Seattle. But with Tommy out due to the hip injury, we're missing some very important steam. Vancouver also has Brian White, who has 11 goals on the season with 1 penalty goal. Vancouver is 6-2-2 at home this season compared to SKC's 3-2-6 away record. Time will tell, but I think this fight is going to be a rough one. Thank you, Chip. What say you, Jimmy? I'm not looking forward to this one.
Well, first off, he's 100% right about Dejan. I don't think we are getting him the ball nearly enough. And I think that's a function of just like we saw what happened in the New York City game. We're not able to control possession in the midfield. It can't all be on Manu, and Rado isn't the type of player who can really control possession in a way or muck up the midfield in a way that, say, prime Roger Espinoza could. So in order to get Dejan the ball more, Sporting needs to have better quality possession. And when I say quality possession, I mean not just passing the ball along the back line aimlessly waiting for something to happen. Find more quality possession, build through the middle, and then you can do those give and goes. And he finds himself in positions to get the ball. Sporting just have to find him. So 100% right. And yeah, this Vancouver game, this will be a tough one. Brian White is a very good player, 11 goals. The only maybe saving grace of this game is Pedro Vite. I don't know that I'm 100% saying that name correctly, but he was their second leading goal scorer and their leading assist getter. He was a midfielder. He was recently sold to Pumas in Mexico, so he is no longer on Vancouver. So that leaves a pretty big hole in their midfield that they didn't have before. So considering that midfield is one of the weaker elements of Sporting Kansas City's game, there's an opportunity to exploit a potential newly promoted starter or a different strategy, considering one of their best or their best midfielder is no longer available. So that's the silver lining. But I mean, when you have a striker like Brian White who's back there, I mean, we've seen what happens. You know, I'm not saying that they're the same type of player, but when we played against LAFC, you saw what a player like, Denny Bouanga, who is a quality all-star level forward, what they can do to this back line. a little worried about what Brian White might do to Sporting Kansas City. And this is one of those games where if you're going to make the playoffs, you got to get a point on the road. You can't keep losing these games that you're supposed to lose. You got to start figuring it out.
Yeah, so 100%.
It's going to be tough. I'm not necessarily looking forward to it. It is going to be a hard one, and BC Place is a weird place to play. With that turf, it's going to be different. So we'll see how the turf impacts the way Sporting plays. We'll see if they come out similar to how they did against New York City, where they let them have possession more. They probably will, but can Sporting get on quick counter? I don't know. It's not typically their game.
It's going to be an uphill battle for sure. And you got to travel all the way northwest. So we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah. And in between that, I guess, a positive quote unquote thing, if you will, is there's the MLS All-Star game on Wednesday night against Liga MX All-Stars in Austin. Sporting has no All-Stars. I mean, Dan maybe should be an All-Star statistically, but he's not an All-Star.
Good.
So there's nobody on Sporting Kansas City that has to worry about, playing in this game that Vancouver, they have multiple players on this All-Star team. They have a goalkeeper, they have a defender, Tristan Blackman, they have Sebastian Berhalter, and they have Brian White. So they have a person in every position group who's going to be in this game in the middle of the week. And I'm not saying that means that they're going to be super tired, but it's something that Sporting doesn't have to deal with. So if you're looking for an element of opportunity in Sporting KC to go to Vancouver and get some points, it's a combination of All-Stars not being there to train and might be a little tired from travel, and Pedro Vite not being there anymore.
Dude, like you said, we are 5 points out of 9th place. That's not the end of the world. And we've only lost once in our last 5 games. So, that's something. It's something. And it's exciting. I was checking the power rankings on MLSsoccer.com, and it's never great. We've been at the bottom for a while now, and they got us at 24.
Yep.
So, would like to climb that a little bit, get some firepower going, but it's a rough time to be a fan, buddy.
It is. Yep, 24. But I mean, like we said, the teams that are, the ones that we have to catch up, they're not all that much farther ahead of us in the power rankings. I feel like anywhere from 16 to 24, 25, they're somewhat interchangeable any given week. There are the good teams atop the standings in MLS, which, obviously Inter Miami is very good. Cincinnati's very good. Nashville's had a great year. Philly's had a great year. San Diego has, had a really good year, and Vancouver as well. And then there's these middle teams where, it's just 6 through 10 almost in both conferences are, just within a handful of points of each other. So that's 10 teams that a couple balls go different ways, and these standings look entirely different. So are you at all interested in that All-Star game? Are you going to watch it at all? You going to throw it on in the background?
Should I? I mean, I guess I had zero plans to.
I mean, it seems like players don't even care about it really all that much. I'll probably have it on just because it's happening.
Dude, the All-Star game in years have been, okay, they're cool for 2 reasons. One is you have a player that you support who's going to be in the game and might potentially get some minutes. 2, the All-Star game is in your city, and there's a week of festivities surrounding it. I've participated in All-Star activities in Chicago. It was fantastic. It came to Kansas City back in 2013 or whatever it was. And, those are the only 2 reasons to get me hyped for this, I feel.
Would you be more excited about the All-Star game if it was a true All-Star game, like East versus West All-Stars, and you got to see MLS versus MLS, and maybe they did something more like what baseball does?
I wouldn't hate that because you would have more players in it, and I think it would get fans more excited. But they've been trying for years to get us to have this little rivalry with Liga MX, and I'm not really biting on that. I'm not really getting it.
No, it's certainly not through an All-Star game. Like, I don't really
Yeah.
care to watch that. Like, it's one thing if it's Leagues Cup or CONCACAF Champions League or whatever. Like, that's a different thing where, yeah, I get that there's sort of this MLS versus Liga MX rivalry. All-Stars, I don't really care. I'd rather more people in MLS have an opportunity to showcase their skills, be it in an East versus West game or do something creative, if you will, like what the NBA does, or have a couple of captains and then draft some players, try something silly, bring back the old penalty shootout format from early in MLS, like just do something creative to make it exciting.
I'm less interested for Liga MX All-Stars than I was for them to bring in like an Arsenal or Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, and as part of their like preseason tour.
Yeah.
I thought that was fantastic because you're going to get to watch Real Madrid, for God's sake, Bayern Munich. You know, it's going to be Man United, I think, was one time. So it's just that excited me more than this Liga MX rivalry that, I don't know. They're trying to gear up for Leagues Cup too, right? Like get people pumped for that.
But how are you supposed to care if your team's not even in Leagues Cup like we are? Like Leagues Cup hasn't even been a thought in my mind because
we're not in that shit. And why aren't we in that shit?
Not every team is in it anymore. Like we didn't qualify or whatever. Does it?
Because doesn't phase 1 start like at the end of this month?
Soon, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're not a part of that at all.
No. So it's
weird
I think
year.
Yeah, it's on Tuesday, July 29th, you have the first Leagues Cup games.
No Open Cup, no Leagues Cup. Okay, then we should be healthy enough to make a little run for the playoffs here.
Should be. Will we be? I don't know.
Let's go. I mean, let's get it done.
Yeah. The only other thing really that I think was somewhat interesting that I was just going to say if you saw was, did you see this crazy, not a huge fan of their team, obviously, but this TIFO that the Timbers Army unveiled? It's the largest painted TIFO in MLS history.
No, I did not.
If you go on MLSsoccer.com, you can see this. They put up a little video about it on Sunday morning, and it was like a multi-part TIFO that sort of celebrated the history of
pictures right now.
Yeah, it celebrated the history of Timbers and their best players. And look, man, say what you will about the Timbers as an organization or their ownership or whatnot. And
whoa,
I've sat in the Timbers Army. It's a cool experience as a neutral. And this is a really cool thing that they were able to pull off. So
yeah,
it's
I mean, there's multiple TIFOs is what it is.
Yeah, it's like a 5-part deal, and they are fortunate in that the way their stadium is set up, because it's an old baseball stadium, they can do this like panoramic thing, because it's basically like that used to be the part of the stadium that was behind home plate. So the seats are set up correctly where you have this really good sort of like panoramic palette, if you will. But still, to be able to pull off something like this and have enough volunteers to be able to make it happen, it's pretty cool. So shout out to them for pulling it off.
Whoa, I'm kind of mesmerized by it. It's kind of neat.
Have you been to a game at Providence Park?
No, dude. Portland's definitely on our list of away trips we'd like to get to.
It's a cool stadium. I mean, it is weird because it's an old baseball stadium. The Portland Beavers used to play there back in the day. But it's and depending on where you sit, you got to deal with like the support beams and structures that may obstruct your view a little bit. But I've sat in the Timbers Army when the Timbers were playing the Galaxy, when Zlatan was there just as a neutral. That was kind of fun. And then I've been there once for a Sporting versus Portland game where I sat over with the Sporting fans, and it's a fun place to play. There's actually a gym opposite of where this TIFO is, like on the other side of the field. There's a gym in the building that butts right up to the field, and there are bikes that you can reserve where you literally are looking into the game. So it's a fancy gym, you have to pay to be a member of it, but you can reserve and probably pay extra to be on the bike while you're looking through the panoramic windows watching the soccer game happen below you.
Well, that's pretty dope.
So, but anyway.
Dude, a thing that actually I saw Dallas beat St. Louis 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Miami just had their way with Red Bulls in New York, bro.
It was wild.
They went to New York and crushed them 5-1. Naturally, Alba got goal of the match day. I think Messi got player of the match day.
Did you see the goal that Messi scored?
No, I did not.
It is disrespectful. Like, he's just like dribbles straight around the goalkeeper who kind of falls down, and it's a wide open net. And I'm just like, God, How does he keep doing this?
A couple other big scoring games, man. Seattle topped San Jose 3-2, and then the LA rivalry, they each got 3 goals, man, tied 3-3, which is like what a barn burner of a game for that rivalry to end up with 6 goals and then tied.
Which that was a really interesting one because a lot of the LA Galaxy supporters did not go to that game out of protest because they're unhappy with how the LA Galaxy organization and front office has handled a lot of the immigration topics, or especially in LA. It's a city filled with immigrants, and the Galaxy in particular, a lot of immigrants in their fan base that have built that club over the years. And LAFC, in contrast, was pretty open and put out a statement that was like, immigrants have made this club. Immigrants have supported this fan base. Like, we support them and stand with them. And the Galaxy were dead silent. And so a lot of the Galaxy fans, they were even canceling season tickets for next season because they're not happy with how the club's handled it. So that's going to be something interesting to watch going forward. They've already had a lot of frustration over the years in recent history. Galaxy fans have, obviously, outside of winning MLS Cup, but with how the club has been run, and this is only exacerbating it.
Yeah.
So, but they came back. Like you said, that was a crazy game where in the 7th minute of stoppage time, they came back and got the equalizer.
Yeah. It's craziness.
You got anything else for our good listeners?
Nah, man, that seems like that's it for the week.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for sticking with us and giving us a listen. Make sure you leave us that 5-star rating and review. If you have not yet done so, do it on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out on social at NoOtherPod, at Dan Kooser, at JCMac03. Shoot us an email, nootherpod@gmail.com, or check us out on YouTube, KCSN Soccer, or via the KC Sports Network app. But until next time, he's Dan, I'm Jimmy, and we'll catch y'all later. See ya.
Lego time.